I drop my overnight bag on Grandpa Arthur's doorstep, my hands shaking so badly I can barely press the doorbell. The folder of medical information I'd hastily compiled spills onto the concrete, insurance cards and medication lists scattering in the autumn breeze. My lungs burn from running up the steps after abandoning my rental car in the driveway. Mom's voice still echoes in my head. "Willow, it's Dad. We think he's had a stroke. You need to get here now." The door swings open. My grandfather stands before me, wearing his favorite cardigan and holding a mug of coffee. His silver eyebrows rise in surprise. "Willow, what are you doing here?" My knees nearly buckle. "Grandpa, you're okay." "Of course I'm okay. Why wouldn't I be?" I stumble past him into the foyer, heart hammering against my ribs. "Mom called me about a stroke. I was in Denver. I canceled my presentation to the investment board. I got on the first flight." He frowns, setting his mug on the entryway table. "That's strange. I haven't spoken to your mother in 3 days." A cold suspicion trickles down my spine. I pull out my phone with trembling fingers and open Instagram. There it is, posted 2 hours ago. My mother, father, and brother Jackson on a beach, margaritas raised in a toast. The location tag reads Cabo San Lucas. I turn the screen toward Grandpa. His confused expression shifts to understanding as he studies the image. "They told me you were too busy to join them," he says quietly. "That you had important meetings all week." The betrayal punches me in the stomach. They lied to both of us. At 32, I've spent years working double shifts, waitressing through college and my MBA program, while my parents paid every cent of my younger brother's education. The same brother who never held a job until our family handed him one at Reyes Retreats, the boutique hotel chain my grandfather built from nothing. Just 3 months ago, my parents had promised me leadership of the new Seattle branch, a position I'd earned through years of loyalty and proven business acumen. 2 weeks before the launch, they quietly canceled the plan, giving the position to Jackson instead. "He just has the right personality for hospitality," my father explained, as if my years in the business meant nothing. My hands stop shaking as anger replaces shock. I call my mother, putting the phone on speaker. She answers on the 5th ring, the sound of laughter and waves in the background. "I'm with Grandpa," I say, my voice steady despite my racing heart. "He's perfectly fine." "Oh well, I must have misunderstood what your father said. These things happen, honey." "Misunderstood." I pull up the family vacation photos again. "Is Cabo nice this time of year?" Another pause. Longer this time. "You're overreacting again. We tried to include you, but you said you were busy with work." "That's interesting, since I never received an invitation. And you told Grandpa I was too busy to visit him." "Willow, really? These misunderstandings wouldn't happen if you stayed more connected with the family instead of always focusing on work." Grandpa gestures for the phone. I hand it to him. "Elena," he says. His voice surprisingly firm for a man they tried to convince me was at death's door. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a lie. He hangs up and hands the phone back to me. "They've been doing this for years, Willow. Keeping us apart." I follow him into his study, where sunlight streams through tall windows. "What do you mean?" "They've been cutting me out of decisions, despite the fact that I founded the company." He lowers himself into his leather chair. "Just like they've been cutting you out in favor of Jackson." My stomach tightens. "But you're still the majority shareholder. On paper." He opens a drawer and pulls out a folder. "But they've been making moves behind my back. And yours." The realization crashes over me like a wave. Every time I stayed late at the office, every business trip I took, every sacrifice I made to earn their respect, none of it mattered. They never intended to see me as their equal. I sink into the chair across from my grandfather, my only ally in a family that has never truly wanted me to succeed. "What are we going to do?" "Yes." A small smile crosses his face. "Fight back." I follow Grandpa Arthur deeper into his study, still trying to process the Cabo photos. The room smells of leather-bound books and the faint trace of his aftershave. He walks to the far wall, his movements deliberate as he slides back a panel revealing a hidden wall safe. "I've been gathering evidence for months," he says, spinning the dial with practiced precision. "Never thought I'd need to use it against my own son." The safe swings open. He withdraws a thick manila folder stamped confidential in red block letters. These are copies of transactions, trust documents, and internal memos that Elena and Dean didn't think I had access to. His voice wavers slightly as he places the folder on his mahogany desk. "You better sit down for this, Willow." My stomach tightens as I flip open the folder. Bank statements, trust withdrawal forms, board meeting minutes. My vision blurs as I process what I'm seeing. "This can't be right," I whisper, tracing a finger down a column of numbers. $2.1 million. My trust fund. Systematically drained. Arthur confirms, his jaw clenched. To fund Jackson's lifestyle. The Aspen condo. The yacht membership. The consulting fees that never produced any actual work. My legs give out and I sink into the leather chair. The room spins as I stare at a document detailing a $190,000 payment to a law firm specializing in traffic violations. "Jackson's drunk driving accident last year," Arthur explains. "The one that never happened. Pedestrian was injured. Your parents used your money to make it disappear." I push aside the nausea rising in my throat as I uncover a draft agreement to transfer ownership of Reyes Retreats entirely to Jackson upon Arthur's death. An additional $2.1 million inheritance they plan to steal from me. "I need to call Diana," I say, pulling out my phone with trembling fingers. Arthur nods. "Your cousin might be the only attorney we can trust right now." Diana picks up on the third ring. I put her on speaker and spread the documents across the desk where she can see them through the video call. Arthur stands beside me, his hands steady on my shoulder. "These statements show systematic fraud," Diana says, her attorney voice clear and confident through the speaker. "Look at the dates. They align perfectly with the board meetings where you were conveniently sent to inspect other properties." She points to a document partially visible on screen. "That transfer to the Cayman account. That's not just family favoritism, Willow. It's fraud and misuse of fiduciary responsibility." Arthur pushes another folder toward the camera. "What about these?" Diana's sharp intake of breath is audible. "These are papers for a competency hearing. They were trying to have you declared mentally incompetent, Arthur." Grandpa's face drains of color. He grips the edge of the desk, knuckles white. "My own son." "There's more," Diana continues, her voice hardening. "Tax evasion, offshore accounts, falsified board minutes." She looks directly at me. "They were going to take everything from both of you." The weight of this revelation crushes against my chest. My entire life, the double shifts to pay for college, the missed vacations to work holiday hours, the blind loyalty to a family business, all built on foundations of lies. What happens if they succeed? Ask my mouth dry. "You lose everything," Diana answers bluntly. "Not just the $2.1 million they've already taken, but your position in the company, your inheritance, everything." I think about the New York position I turned down 3 months ago. Executive Finance Director at Harrison Hotels. A 6-figure salary. Stock options. All rejected to stay with the family business. "You'll face financial ruin," Arthur says quietly, "while Jackson enjoys the fruits of my 50 years of labor." Diana's voice softens. "Willow, if you fight this, they'll cut all ties. You understand that, right? This isn't just about money. You'll lose what remains of your family." I laugh bitterly. "What family?" "The people who lied to me my entire life." Arthur sinks into his chair, suddenly looking every one of his 76 years. "There's something else you should know." He rubs his chest absently. "My health isn't perfect. Early-stage heart issues. Nothing immediately life-threatening, but you need someone you can trust," I finish for him. He nods, pulling a folder from his desk drawer. These papers name you as my healthcare proxy and financial power of attorney. If you're willing. My hand doesn't shake as I take the pen he offers. I sign each line with deliberate strokes, a small victory amid the devastation. The weight of responsibility settles across my shoulders, not just for me, but for the man who built everything my parents are trying to steal. As I hold these signed papers, I wonder if I should confront my parents immediately or build my case silently. The thought of seeing their faces when I revealed what I knew is tempting, but patience might give me the advantage of surprise. Would you choose immediate confrontation or strategic patience when faced with such a profound betrayal? The opportunity comes 3 nights later during a family dinner I attend only to maintain appearances. While my mother leads guests on a tour of their recent renovations, I slip away. The key turns smoothly in the lock of my father's study. Inside, I move efficiently through filing cabinets, photographing documents that confirm everything we suspected, transfer authorizations bearing forged signatures, backdated board minutes, amendments to trust documents with questionable witnesses. 15 minutes later, the door swings open. My father stands in the doorway, face darkening as he registers what I'm doing. "What do you think you're doing in here?" His voice carries the same tone he used when I was 8 and colored on his desk calendar. I continue photographing a particularly damning memo. "Finding the truth you've been hiding from me my entire life." He steps forward, looming over me the way he always has. But for the first time I don't shrink back. Instead I stand taller. "Get out before I call security," he hisses, reaching for my arm. I hold up my phone, screen displaying the dozens of images I've already captured. "I've already copied everything I need." His face transforms, the mask of paternal authority dropping to reveal naked fear. In that moment, the strangest feeling washes over me. I'm no longer afraid of his disapproval. The realization is so liberating I almost laugh. "You've always underestimated me," I say quietly. "That was your biggest mistake." Later that night, Diana works through the night, organizing the evidence. Her apartment resembles a legal war room, documents spread across every surface as she drafts motions and prepares filings. "I don't want payment," she says when I mention compensation. "Consider this 20 years of repayment for how they treated my mother." Grandpa Arthur arrives with a weathered leather portfolio. "The original company formation documents," he explains. "Your parents thought these were destroyed in the office fire last year." Margaret calls with locations of additional files. "The garden shed behind the pool house," she whispers. "Hidden under the flooring. I've watched them hide things there for years." These people, this unlikely alliance of the overlooked and underestimated, stand with me not because we share blood, but because we share values. The contrast with my parents' manipulation has never been clearer. In Diana's kitchen, we review the final strategy. A forgotten clause in the original company contract allows for ownership revocation in cases of proven fraud, she says. "There's something else." Diana slides a folder across the table. "The FBI has already been investigating Jackson's accident. The agent I spoke with believes there's evidence of bribery." The next morning, I walk through the glass doors of Reyes Retreat's headquarters. The receptionist's eyes widen at my appearance. I move past her toward the boardroom, where the quarterly meeting is underway. Behind me, 4 FBI agents follow in silent formation. For the first time in months, a smile touches my lips. I walk into the Reyes Retreat's boardroom with my spine straight as a ruler. The polished mahogany table gleams under recessed lighting, reflecting the stunned faces of board members as FBI agents file in quietly behind me. My mother's champagne glass freezes midway to her lips. Jackson's smug smile falters. My father stands abruptly, chair scraping against hardwood. "What's the meaning of this, Willow?" he demands. I place my leather portfolio on the table. "I'm here to present evidence of serious financial misconduct within Reyes Retreats." The room falls silent. I remove a stack of documents from my portfolio, passing copies to each board member with steady hands. Gone is the trembling daughter desperate for approval. In her place stands a woman with irrefutable proof.